Greetings, Judah. DFG at Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, I've got a little lesson that I want to share, with the family. And what I mean by family, I'm talking about those of us who are in the way, those of us who have accepted who we are as Judah of the body of Israel. And if so happen there be a stranger that has humbled themselves and walked away from their heathens past, renounced their heathenism, then by the grace of Yah, may they be grafted into the knowledge of Yah as we share today inside of the body of Elohim. But that being said, I'm going to share some writings with you from one of our forefathers, David. But before I get into that, I just want to remind you, brothers and sisters, of something. The dangers of falling after the ways of the heathen. Because when I share this message with you, I want you to understand that none of the things that I'm going to share with you will apply to you if you continue to walk after the ways of the heathen under the guise that somehow before Yah, it doesn't matter because as they say, Yah knows my heart. Well, Yah does knows the heart of a man. And as Isaiah, one of our ancient ones, reminded us, he said, yes, I know your hearts. And this is what I know about your hearts better than you know, Israel. Your heart is extremely wicked. And he said, it's impossible for you to know it. It has the potential to be so wicked. In other words, he said that same statement that many of our brothers and sisters make when you challenge them on truth. When they're walking after the ways of the world, the first rhetorical response will be, well, Yah knows my heart. And then Yah turns around and says, yes, I know your heart. But the problem is, you don't know your heart. He says that because if you had known your heart as you profess to know, then you would understand the ways of Yah. Because you would only allow your heart to be influenced by the ways of Yah. And you would never take upon the position to resist Yah by denying the power and the truth of Yah by walking after your own ways. Ass knows his owner, ox knows his master. My people have no clue of who Yah is, although they're the apple of his eye. So when we go out walking from under the Torah, when we go out walking away from the Rahuk, Yah is saying, you don't know what the hell you're doing, but you think you do. And that's why in the book it constantly reminds us, my sisters, my brothers, be careful that you be not deceived. It is impossible. It is impossible to go by your own heart and your own judgment and not walk in deception, is what he's trying to tell us. All of us. He said it's an impossibility. In order to know your heart, you have to know the ways of Yah and you have to obey those ways. You have to commit to that. The strangers, they've got all kind of wicked ways. I'm talking about the heathens and the Gentiles. I mean, one of their hell days are coming up real soon. They call holidays Easter. And they will lie. This is how powerful the deception is with Easter. They tell you that it is the resurrection of the Messiah. And they tell you it's all about his resurrection on the third day. He died on that Friday, Good Friday. He was risen 3 days later on Sunday. Do the math. But there's layers of lies. But beyond that, they'll tell you that Easter is equivalent to the Passover. Yet they deny the Torah for what they call the New Testament gospel. The new way. Forgetting the old way and taking upon a new way. Yet this new way is full of lies and deception. And after they'll tell you that Easter is the same thing as the Passover. Because Yah knows. It's almost like, I commit a crime. In other words, let me do a better example of that. Be careful, my sisters and brothers. Especially you so-called Christians out there who are still walking under that false religious title. You need to be very, very careful. Because, your wicked shepherds are those wicked shepherds who continue to perpetuate this lie will tell you that Easter is, we shouldn't use Easter anymore. We have a new name. Although it's still Easter. We have a new name. It's called Resurrection Sunday. So we're not going to use Easter because that's paganistic and it ties into Esther, the goddess of fertilization. So we're not going to, that's where your Easter bunny and Easter eggs come from, by the way, just so you know. That's how paganistic it is. But we're not going to use Easter anymore. We're going to have Resurrection Sunday, Sunrise Sunday, which simply means we're going to worship the sun. The sun, idolatry, pagan worship. But we're going to call it Resurrection Sunday, a sunrise mass, a sunrise, whatever lie it is. Here's why I tell you to be careful with it. It's the equivalent of me committing a crime and then changing my name. And because I changed my name, therefore I should no longer be guilty of the crime. Let me say that again to you. Calling, Easter, paganistic, Hell Day, Resurrection Sunday, and saying that Yah is blessing that is the equivalent of me committing a crime and then changing my name and saying I am no longer guilty of the crime because I don't go by that name anymore, although I'm the same person who committed that crime. Now think about that. I think we all would agree. I can change my name, or anyone can change your name. That does not eliminate or does not erase your responsibility for committing that crime. You are the same criminal. When you just change the name of paganism and put a pretty picture on it, putting lipstick on a pig, as they say, y'all saying you are just deceived and you're walking in abomination. So again, I'm going to remind you, my brothers and sisters, the word says, come out from among them. Be separate. Don't touch their uncleanliness. As so many of you will still do. But some of you, some of us, by the love and by the grace of Yah, we'll resist that. And we'll say, no longer shall I follow the ways of the heathen. That is a curse. That is idolatry. That is walking in the occult. Sun worship, moon worship, the star worshiping, astrology. All of these things are abomination before Yah. The book tells us this. And I have to remind us, and I say me because I do have to do it. I'm not the only one. But I have to remind us, as this wickedness approaches with all of these things that are going on, with the mass deception that's going on, the clear intent to destroy Yah's people through incentives. It's like the pedophile who comes and offer an innocent child candy to lure that child into his car or into her home, to abuse that child. That's what this wickedness has become now. That's how dangerous it is. So now they're coming up with incentives to get you to sacrifice your bodies unto heathens, as they claim Yah did, at least Yeshua did, by the commandments of Yah, which is a lie. It's a lie. The messenger, the Messiah, came with one purpose in mind: to open up the eyes of Israel. And he as much as said so, Matthew 15:24. I came but for the lost sheep of Israel. And once he had fulfilled his purpose, he was gone. He was done. There was no need for him to die and come back. Yah said, my word is forever established in the heavens. If the word is forever established, then he doesn't need to come back and relive the word again in some type of second, transformation. When Yah is done with his messengers, he removed them. The word is there. Yeshua brought forth truth. But he didn't have any truth of his own. He said, I say nothing but what my Father says. Look at the words of Yeshua. Go through and read his words. And then I can assure you, they say, where else is this? Do your own research. You will find that everything Yeshua said that has had any kind of significance, any kind of meaning, any kind of revealing is all written in the Torah. All of it is written in the Torah. And yet these devils now have conjured up this hell day and say this is all about the glorification of a man called Jesus. And many of our people in a few weeks are going to be seduced into, again, pagan worship, bringing condemnation upon yourselves, your bodies, your soul, your family, your households, extending the curse against the people of Yah. And you're doing it out of ignorance. And one of the ignorance, as I'll circle back, that whole thing that Yah knows my heart. Look, yes, he does. And he knows that your heart is definitely, he said, is desperately wicked above anything that you can comprehend. What does that mean? You're not capable. You're not capable. If you're walking in your own self-righteousness, you are not capable of understanding what is good and what is evil. Now, that's something that you need to take some time, my sisters and brothers, and reflect on, meditate on. More importantly, accept the truth. It's written there in the book of Isaiah. Look it up for yourself. I suspect some of you already know that what I said is true. Who can know the heart of a man, for it is definitely wicked above all things. But yet people sit there and say, Yah knows my heart. And it's not that Yah doesn't know your heart. What Yah is saying, no, your righteousness that you're using is like a menstrual rag. And your heart that you claim is clean is filthy. And why is it filthy? Because you resist me. You resist the truth. You attribute our history book to the heathen. And you claim that you allow the heathens to tell you that this book is about other heathens. And the book was written by us, for us. And Yah said in the last days, through Daniel the prophet, that knowledge will be increased. That my people will come into their right, at least the elect of my people. Let me be clear. The elect. Go back and read Matthew 24. He says, except that the days be short. No, he said, it's going to get so wicked. For many of you out here thinking it's going to get better, I got it. No. That's not the word. He said that in these last days, he said it's going to get so wicked that even the elect amongst us, those who love Yah, those who walk in the ways of the Torah, those who embrace the truth of Yah, we can also, he said that if he did not shorten these days, in other words, bring an end to this world, even we would not be able to embrace his salvation. In other words, we would fall as well. So for all of you phenomenons out there, all of you soldiers out there who you just know so much, Yah saying no, you would fall too if he did not shorten these days. So he's giving us the insight and the warning and saying, look, I've increased your knowledge. Now, with that knowledge, who will you serve? Mammon or man or Elohim, the creator? But you got to choose. You have to choose. And in your choosing is where Yah will separate the sheep, those who hear his voice, versus the goat, the goat. Let me say that again. Baphomet, the goat. You know what the Baphomet is? It's transgender. The top is a male, bottom is a female. I'm sorry, the top is a female, the bottom is a male. The GOAT. You're not the greatest of all time. You hear him doing that stuff? You see the GOAT, the greatest, with Tom Brady or Michael Jordan or LeBron James or whomever. The greatest of all time. GOAT worship. That is telling you who you're being led by. If you're being led by the world or the glory of this world or the authority of those who run this world, you are being led by the goats of this world. In other words, my brothers and sisters, you have read the word. Yah said, I'm going to separate the sheep from the goat. So if you're loving the things of the world, the Easters and you're putting, again, lipstick on a pig, sugar on dung, or sugar on shit, and calling it sweet. Yet it's still waste and poisonous to your body. He says that if you're doing that, you're still following the ways of the goat of the world, the so-called greatest of all time, man. And this applies for Halloween. You know, what is it for Halloween? Harvest night. High crimes and treasons within the kingdom. High crimes and treason. In other words, the Judas Iscariot, the false prophets, the false teachers, the false messiahs out there are leading you farther and farther away from the truth of Yah. And you don't have to follow them, my sisters and my brothers. None of us have to follow them. Although it is prophesied, it is written, and it cannot be changed that 2 out of 3 of you will follow the ways of the goat. And my brothers and sisters, look, I'm doing that so you know what you're seeing. So when you see these celebrities doing this kind of stuff, or making these little gestures, these little hands, just so you know, all of that foolishness, all of that, just so you know, they're signaling one another. We're in charge. Keep it up. Keep on going. You're doing a good job. It's their way of encouraging each other. Good job at what? Leading the sheep away from the shepherd so that they can be consumed by the wolves. What are the wolves? The cares of this world and the issues that this world brings forward to you, where you have no peace day and night, those who worship the beast. Isn't that what Revelation said? He said, those who worship the beast, the goat, will have no peace day or night. How many of you that fit that description? And I know some of you, well, I do have peace. Can you explain to us what your peace looks like? Can you explain to us what your peace looks like? I'm just asking. You put it in the comments if you like. I guess that's the only way you'll be able to explain. And granted, you can have peace. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just asking you a question. If you're so sure that you're sure, you know that you know that you know, then tell us what your peace looks like. If you're not being tormented day and night, and yet you're not following the way. So if you're not following the way of the book, and you got peace, explain to us what your peace looks like. Let's see if your peace can stand the test of examining through the word of Yah. Because I would tell you, again, that you're being deceived. And some of your brothers and sisters, at this stage of this message, you may ask, what I would call an intelligent question with DFG. Are you experiencing peace? I mean, I think if that's a fair question to ask me, since I'm bringing forth, this conversation and challenging what peace looks like versus what the peace that the world gives you, which is no peace. I can tell you what it looks like. It's having a mind to serve Yah. It's waking up daily knowing that, whatever you do, you're going to do it all to the glory of the kingdom of Yah. It's going to bed at night and closing your eyes and being able to fall right asleep. It's waking up in the morning, even if you're feeling distressed and you're feeling tired or weary, knowing that all you have to do is go to the book, go before Yah in prayer or in worship, and that calm comes over you. And all you want to do now is just glorify Yah. And I'm not talking about running around and jumping around with a bunch of gyrations. I'm talking about you saying, okay, I'm going out in this world, and someone going to hear the truth. Someone going to see the glory of Yah in me. Whether I speak it or I don't speak it. Because I'm going to walk in the power and the authority. I'm not going to be a coward. I'm not going to be fearful. I'm not going to walk out there in doubting and unbelief, wavering-minded, back and forth. I'm going to walk out there fully assured that my Redeemer lives and he lives in me. See, that's the peace. What says you? What says you? That's my question to you, my sisters and my brothers. This peace, by the way, this peace that I'm talking about is prejudice. Yes, it's prejudice. It's only for a select few. Those who are called by the name of Elohim. And what I mean is that those who have humbled themselves. Those who are willing to turn away and walk towards the glory of Yahuwah. Without fear, without trembling, humble but confident, in the assurance that truly Yah has me. Serving him in deed and not in word only. Because that's what me, when Yah got me there, you say, well, okay, how? He walked me, well, he gave me, Satan can give you anything that you want on this planet except for salvation. You understand that? Satan can give you anything on this earth that you're seeking except for a relationship with Elohim. That he cannot do. That he will never do because it ain't in him to do. He's a thief. He's a murderer. He's a liar. He could never know the truth. He could see the truth, but he could never embrace that truth. That's why when Yah was in Yeshua, and Yeshua would walk amongst, these demon-possessed people, the first thing those demons would cry, we know who you are. Why have you come to torment us before the time? So you don't even have to say anything. The demons will see it in you. And I can assure you, they will run or look the other way. The one thing they will not do is engage you. If you're being engaged by naysayers, gainsayers, you know what a gainsayer is? It's somebody who is in denial or someone who's trying to contradict the word. If you're being embraced by them and you're getting pulled into conversations and debates with them, that's only because there's nothing in you that causes them to tremble in fear. When the glory of Yah is in a woman or the glory of Yah is in a man, trust me, those devils will run. They will get out of town, as they did with Yeshua when he walked amongst them, or as they did with all the men who walked in the glory of Yah. There's a story when King Ahab, after he had used Jezebel to kill Nabal to steal the man's land, yes, he used his woman to put out a contract on an innocent man, and all that man wanted to do was protect his inheritance so he could pass it down to his children as his father had passed it on to him. And Jezebel connived with Ahab, with his weak, effeminate, emasculated ass, and they murdered this man to steal his land. And when Isaiah came, and Ahab saw Isaiah coming, first thing he said, are you coming in peace? Because he saw the glory. He knew what Elijah stood for. He knew that Elijah walked in the power and authority of Yah. And he was a king. Even he, as a king, he recognized his kingdom only went so far. What I'm saying to you, my brothers and sisters, the Rahuk in you, I don't care how great these men are, how great these women are. They will reverence the king or the Rahuk that's set up on you from the King of Kings and the Elohim of Elohims. Oh, they will see it in you. And the first thing they'll ask, are you coming in peace? Now, they may not say it in their words, but you'll see it in their actions. You'll see it in their behavior. Many, many times, they're going to just run away from you. When you come, they leave. I got something to do. When you call, I'm busy, or if they answer at all. When they visit you, the minute you bring up the word, I got to go. So that's the same thing. There's no difference in that. But Yah is opening up your eyes and opening up our understanding so we understand what is happening. Because sometimes we start to feel somewhat abandoned by those that we want to embrace, especially when it comes down to family members. And then when they walk away and don't want to conversate about the word, don't want to hear the truth, we somehow become offended. Well, it's not that we become offended. But Yah is saying, don't be offended. As a matter of fact, he said, if you're not offended, then you're not of mine. You're not mine. You're not of my sheep. He said, if the world hated me, it's going to hate you. And yet we have many of the people of Israel running around looking for validation from the world. Come on, love me, love me, love me, love me. Come on. And Yah saying, you can't serve two masters. Yah said, if the world loves you, then you're of the world. Because the love of Elohim is not in the world. So if the world hates you, as it hated Yeshua, who was walking in the glory of Yah, it's going to hit you too. So my sisters and my brothers, what do you have to fear? That old saying, you remember the old song, looking for love in all the wrong places? That's many in Judah. We're looking for love and all. We're looking for validation from heathens. We're looking for validation by practicing the paganism of heathens, conforming to the laws and the traditions of heathens, especially when it comes down to religion. Looking for validation. And you're not going to find any validation there. He said, though you seek me, you shall not find me. Because I do not dwell. Elohim does not dwell in the house made with the hands of men. Can I say that to you one more time, my sisters and my brothers? Elohim does not dwell inside of the houses that are built by the hands of men. So that eliminates your churches, your temples, your synagogues, your mosque. There is no Elohim there. Well, I bring him when we go there. No, you ain't bringing him with you when you go there because he's not going to enter into those places of idolatry. Again, that's the deception of self-righteousness. There's a way, as Solomon said, that seems right unto a man, but the end is going to lead that man to destruction. See, that's leaning to your own understanding, your own self-righteousness. My way, only Yah can judge me. Yes. And he's judging your asses every time you walk into those temples. He's telling you, I'm not with you, and you're none of mine. He's judging you. Come out from among them. Be you separate. Love not the world, neither the things of the world. Have you seen these things in the book, my sisters and brothers? Have you even opened the book? You know, I encourage many of my brothers and sisters to get our history book out. The world calls the Bible. I've encouraged you to do it. I've encouraged some of you to go out and spend a little stimulus check and buy one. But I'm going to tell you something. Do not self-deceive. Do not be deceived. If you're not opening this book and studying this book, you should have kept your $95 and went and bought you a couple of movie tickets or got you some popcorn and you know, I don't know, a 2-liter drink and chill. Because this book will have no more effect on you than that would have on you spiritually if you don't open the book and dive in and look for the answers to where Yah is trying to guide us. Following the ways, learning the ways, being obedient as much as it is in you to the Torah, to the laws, to the statutes of Elohim. So don't be deceived in that way, because some of you will make a religion out of the book. What do I mean by that, DFG? The book just become another tool that you use to self-deceive, and that somehow or another you are committed to Yah. See, I bought a book. Did you open that book? Have you read what's in that book? Have you prayed for understanding of the things that are written in this book? Are you willing to obey the truth of this book once that truth has been revealed to you? Because if you haven't, you're just back in church again. You're just back in religion again. You're back on Christmas. Praying to white Jesus. Or better yet, Santa Claus, but Jesus. Same man. Santa gonna bring you gifts. Jesus gonna bring you gifts. But all of it's gonna have a hook to it. And that hook is the ways of debt, as Solomon said. Again, there's a way that seems right. All seeming right simply means, and I may be over teaching at this point, and I won't get to the Psalm, I promise you that. But I may be over teaching at this point, but the Elohim is telling me I'm not. The Rahuk is telling me I'm not. You know, when you follow Christmas and say, let's keep Christ in Christmas, that's a lying spirit. Because he would never have anything to do with anything that heathens have created to worship their gods. Saturnalia. Do you know Saturnalia has the roots? Saturnalia, Christmas, all the same thing. You know what was the biggest celebration inside of so-called Christmas? Saturnalia? It was the killing of our ancestors at the pleasure of the Romans. It was almost, you remember the gladiators and the Christians that were fed to the lions? We've all seen that in the old Roman movies, maybe the most recent, in the Spartacus movie, wherever you may have seen those things at. I think this movie come to mind with Russell Crowe. What was the name? Gladiator. Remember Gladiator? Oh, our history is whitewashed. We became white somehow or another. Israel became white. And we know that through Revelations 2 and 9 and Revelations 3 and 9. I know those who say they are Jews, but they lie. They are the synagogue of the devil. Read it for yourself. But we have been, it all has been whitewashed, even with the Christmas snow, and now Santa and Jesus, the gifts. You know, but all these things have a catch to that. Because if you practice these things, there is a soul tie that's involved with that practice. You are in spiritual adultery. See, Babylon, you know, we talk about Babylon, the great whore Babylon. Revelations talks about it. You know, Babylon, great Babylon, you know, who caused the whole world to commit fornication with her, to drink the wine of her wrath. We look at it sometimes as a physical place. And you can apply it in a physical sense, but it's spiritual. If you're practicing idolatry, you're celebrating these holidays, you're going into these hellholes, you're calling upon the name of Jesus, using God, the dog word, and saying it's all the same thing. I am telling you, I want to make it crystal clear to you. You are walking in condemnation. You are walking in self-deception because you don't have to do it anymore. Our parents, our grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, Yah winked at some of them in their ignorance because they did not have that it was not the time. Yah said there's a set-apart time. You know, some call it what's the word? Dispensations. See, there are dispensations of time. And you say, well, brother, what is dispensation? It's the way how Yah dealt with men in certain times. Throughout the history of our people, Yah was revealing piece by piece, a little by little. And you say, well, what if they were practicing some of these things? If they were practicing it through their ignorance, because Yah was bringing forth to the end a fullness of the people, then Yah is judging that. We don't know the minds of Yah. You might say, well, we don't know. If Yah set them apart and had them walking in that way, which we walk in that way today, where there may have been grace and mercy for them. But in this day and time, as knowledge has increased with all the technology, all the information, Yah said, you are without excuse. Our ancestors, some of our ancestors have an excuse. What excuse do you have? The knowledge is everywhere now, who we are. And the more it is coming out, more prevalent every single day, that we, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, all the tribes of Israel scattered amongst this whole world. Globally, we're scattered. And Yah is bringing us in. And how is he bringing us in? Turning the whole world against us. They've always hated us. But now this hatred has taken it's gone up to a different level. You don't feel that, my sisters and brothers? You can't feel that inside of you? That this whole despising of us is taken up on a new level now? If you can't, it's because of the fact that you haven't come all the way out of that world. That's why you can't tell. You have a knowledge, but you have an understanding, but it's not according to knowledge. You have an understanding that maybe you are the people, but your understanding is not connected to the knowledge, because if you had the knowledge, then you would be obedient. You just can't say, I'm done with the world, and then somehow or another you're removed from it. No, there is an act. Yeshua said, Yah said, you know the tree by the fruit that it bears. There's going to be a behavioral change, a real, genuine behavioral change. And people will see that in your walk. The enemy will fear that in your walk. And that's why this particular chapter of scripture I'm about to read to you is so important. Before you start applying this to you, you need to understand who it's talking to. Okay? This does not apply to you if you have not come out, or you're not willing to come out, or you're still gainsaying. You're still in contradiction. I'm sure, but I'm not sure. I believe, but I don't believe. Well, you better do like the fellow that Yahuwah came upon one day, Yeshua came upon one day and said, Elohim, I believe, but help my unbelief. See, that's what many of us are today. Many of you are there today. Many of the people that you love are there today. I believe, but I'm not sure what I believe. And that's why the word is here. That's why the teachers are here. The messengers, the prophets. That's why we're here. To help you broaden your knowledge so that you can grow. You know, Paul once said, he said, one plant the word, another water the word. But Elohim gives that which is planted and that which is watered its increase. It makes it a beautiful flower. It makes it like this. See this rose? This rose would not be in existence if someone did not plant rose seeds, if someone did not pour water on this rose, and someone did not let the light of Elohim shine on this word, which is the word, it would not have become a rose. Same thing applies to you, my sisters and brothers. You got seed, you got water, you got the sunlight or the food, and then you have the growth, and ultimately, the beauty. Amen? He said, I'm going to beautify my sister. See, I heard the sister say, well, it sounds like you're going in on the sister. No. I'm telling the sisters, be humble. Learn the ways. Rebuke, resist the temptations of the world. Become like, so Yah can beautify you with your meekness. You see what I'm saying? So this is how Yah wants to see you, sisters. But brothers, I know some of you might not like this idea, but he also applies the same thing to you too. The Rose of Sharon. All right? The lilies of the field. These things are examples of what Yah, or how Yah sees his children. Those who are the apple of his eye. But without the teaching, praise Yah. Thank you for that, Elohim. But without the teaching, without the growth, in other words, without the seed being planted, and it's got to be sown. You can't just put seed on concrete. So there are some of you who are saying, well, if I just share the word with my unbelieving children, then they'll ultimately take root and they'll grow. Not if they're not fertile ground, not if they're resisting the truth, not if they are denying, the Elohim who created them. You put seed on the ground, and the sun comes on it, the water comes in, is he going to get dried up or it's going to get washed away? But one thing you won't have is a manifestation of whatever inside of that seed. See, they have to want the truth. Same thing applies to you. Some of you are not growing because you don't want to grow, because you still have a heart of stone. You still want to do religion. You still want to practice the heathen hell days. But you want to call it something else. As I stated earlier in this message, I cannot commit a crime and then change my name and therefore feel that I'm absolved of that crime. No, I am still accountable. I am still the one that was responsible, and I am still the criminal. Changing the name and still practicing the occult makes you a criminal just by a different name. Therefore, shun, resist the devil, as the scripture takes. He said, resist Satan with an S, and he or she will flee for fear. Satan is not a female. Satan is just a male spirit inside of a female. He can transform himself into a female called lesbian. Arrogant, feminist. I want to rule over the man. We talked about that yesterday. Amen. So he's a morphodite. He's half man, half woman. Again, the goat. The beast. The book talks about the beast and the mark of the beast. Yeah, it's systematic, but the system is what? Transgenderism. Look at what's being promoted out here right now. I mean, again, let's go back to the Grammys. Yes, we saw women acting like hoes, but guess what else we saw? We saw the promotion of lesbianism. We saw the promotion of homosexuality. These women were humping on each other, putting their vaginas and their asses in each other's faces, grinding on each other. You were looking at the same homosexual agenda that's being pushed by the Biden administration and all these other wicked-ass government global administrations, including the Obama administration. You were looking at a homosexual occultic worship sacrifice. They were paying tribute to the Baphomet. And yeah, they were pushing whoredom. There's no question about it. But they were also doing it in the guise, the wolf in sheep clothing. There was lesbianism, homosexualism being promoted right in front of your eyes, and I guarantee you, most of Judah didn't catch it. First of all, none of us should have been a part of it. How could you take the time and sit there and let your soul be oppressed and beat down by that filth? So again, that's why you got to come out of that. Your Rahook is grieved. If you are in the body, or you're in the way, or if you are the selected of Elohim, then your Rahook, you should be grieved. The minute you see something like that, you should, I'm done. Disgusted. And some of you sisters, I heard some of you were disgusted. Praise Yah. Some of you brothers, I know you were disgusted. But only a few. But then again, who can complain? Yah said only a few. Straight is the gate, narrow is the path that leadeth to eternity. I'm talking about everlasting life, to all of the promises that are guaranteed to us by Yah. But he said it was only going to be a few of us who would be able to take advantage of that, who would experience it. Even in Israel, unfortunately. But I want to, again, bring that forward to you so that you see he's working both sides. He's enticing the men and encouraging the women through whoredom, whoremongers and whores, and then undercover, he's pushing lesbianism or homosexuality. Again, the two, the horn god, the beast, the goat, the greatest of all times. And many of you, especially some of you men who are out there having these arguments about who's greater than who and who is the goat. Again, because you are of the world, you can't see it. And many of you are professing to be believers. Where a believer of Elohim is not going to be encouraging or promoting the things of this world. I mean, don't get me wrong. We were all there. I was a big time, local NFL football team fan. I invested in some of their material. Ask me if I give a shit about them now. As Elohim starts to open my eyes, as these days become narrow, I could care less what them devils are doing out there. In their temples of doom called stadiums. Same places they were killing our ancestors, by the way. It's another form of the gladiators or the Romans, slaughtering our people. Now, obviously, they're not slaughtering us in the physical sense, but they damn sure slaughtering you in the Rahook. And many of you brothers are caught up in that. And you're wondering why you have no peace. Why you can't experience the power of Elohim in your life. Why you continue to be begging for bread. What do I mean by begging for bread? Just can barely make enough to pay your bills, if that much. You know what I'm talking about. If you had a crisis in your house right now and you needed $400 to take care of that crisis, you don't even have that resource to do it. And I'm not judging you. I'm surely not putting you down. I'm just reminding you that do you realize that you could be trapping the blessings of Yah because you're still halfway in and halfway out of the world? And Yah's not going to bless that? Satan going to bless it enough to give you just enough to keep coming back. Like the pig going back to his own, mud. Like the dog keep on going back to his own vomit. Satan's going to give you enough to keep on coming back, but you'll never have increase. Unless you totally sell out to him. And then your soul is condemned for eternity. See, that's the devil's bargain. Praise Yah. This was burning in me all day, my sisters and brothers. This particular, message has been burning in me all day. And I'm asking Elohim, what do you have for me to say? Because I knew it was in here, but I didn't know how it would come out of here. But this is what Elohim is saying. See, I got a love message that I need you to bring forward on this particular day. Not tomorrow, on this particular day, at this particular time. I have a love message that I need you to bring to my children. Bring it to your brothers and bring it forward to your sisters. Those that have ear to hear, those who have an open heart, who are good soul and not concrete, or those who don't have a heart of stone, they're going to receive this message. They need this message. This message is a timely message for them. So you bring it forward and then get out of the way. Praise Yah. And I'm good with it. I am good with it. So I pray that whether I'm your seed today, or whether I'm your water today, that you are open to hear what thus says the word for you today. Now, with all that being said, praise Yah. Now let me get to that was a lot of meat. That was a lot of meat. But with that, it's like almost having a dinner of just meat. You need the rest of it, right? You need the encore. I'm saying that right? The encore. You need some potatoes, and you need some greens, and what else? Maybe a little dessert to make it a full meal. Well, let's complete this meal. Praise Yah. Open up your book if you haven't opened it today, and follow me. Psalms 91. And we're almost, Psalms 91. I heard you, Brother Jonathan. Stop saying that. You know what I'm talking about, right, my brother? All right. Okay. He said, those who care, they don't listen. You shut up. Y'all go as long as he wants to go. Got you, little brother. Praise Yah for you, by the way. Chapter 91. Psalms chapter 91. He that dwells in the secret place of Elohim shall abide under the shadow of El Shaddai. And I will say to Yahuwah, he is my refuge and my fortune. In other words, I'm only dependent upon you for my resources. Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. In other words, he will keep us from being eaten alive by the cares and the issues of this world. Those who dwell in the secret place, those of us who have a relationship, those who are under the covering of Elohim. The believer. Those who love the truth, even if it means death unto them. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings shall we trust. His truth shall be our shield to protect us. No enemy formed against us will prosper, as all this is saying. And our buckler, every tongue that comes up against us, Yah is going to condemn. That's what this is saying. Shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid by the terror by night, nor by the arrows that fly by day. In other words, again, you would clearly understand, though the enemy rises like a flood, Elohim will lift up a standard barrier like a buoy. As the water rises, as the trials and the tribulations and the issues of life come your way, Yah say, I'm going to keep you right above it. It'll be there, but I'm going to still keep you above it. You're not going to go under. Praise Yah. And some of you need to understand that, because some of you are afraid right now. That's why he said you should not be, by the terrors of night or by the arrows that fly by day. He's telling you, don't be afraid. I got you. That's what he's saying to you. I got you. But he doesn't have you, my sister, unless you want to be had or be held. All right? Unless you are his and have confessed and are determined to respond to Elohim as a child. He in no way can protect us. But this is what he's saying. Yeshua once said that when he was talking in prayer to Elohim, he said, Master, Elohim, Adonai, all of those that thou have given me, I have lost none. And people say, well, what about Judas? Judas never was a part of his. See, there are some that come up that are with us, but they come who came with us, but they're not of us. See, everybody that's with you is not of you. And that's something that we still have to understand as Israel. We want to say, well, if they're all with us and they're hanging out or they're coming around, they must be with. No, they did something for you, or they're depending on you, or you're depending on them. They got it. No, that's not what the book says. That's not what the book says. And you need to keep that in mind. All right? They might be from you, but they're not of you. Even some of our children, unfortunately. He says, nor the pestilence that walks in the darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. And see, this is talking about nightmares and evil thoughts and anxiety and fear and worry about what's going to happen, what you're going to lose, what somebody's going to take, what somebody's going to do. He says, remember we talked about the peace? I mentioned that a little bit earlier in this message. See, this is what that peace looks like. Praise Yah. This is what that peace looks like. That's what I was trying to explain in the very beginning. Go back and listen to this message again once it's done. And connect this to that. And you'll see it. Why DFG professed what peace looks like to him. Because the only peace that I know of is the peace that Yah provides. It's a lasting peace. It's a peace that you can depend on. When the whole world turns against you, Yah got me. Yah got you. Then he goes on to say, 1,000 shall fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Now, what do you mean 1,000? What is he talking about? He's talking about demonic, voices, demonic presence, spiritual wickedness in high places, the ruler of darkness. The rulers of darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high. This is what he's talking about. There are an innumerable amount of demons, my sisters and my brothers, all around this planet. And they see you. The question is, can you see them? And you will never see them except Yah reveals them to you, and he won't reveal anything to you if you choose to walk after these paganistic holidays, traditions, and customs of men, including these games and societies that you've heard me talk about. People talking about Freemasonry and Eastern Stars and all of these other, gamers and all of those other things that take the men and the women away from trusting in Yah exclusively. He's a jealous El. Yah is not sharing his authority. He's not sharing his glory with no one, nothing, nada. Verse 8, he says, only with your eyes shall you behold and see the reward of the wicked. Yah say they're going to reap what they sow. See those weapons, he said, no weapon formed against you going to prosper. He said, they're going to come at you with some shit. But he said, when I finish with their ass, they're going to wish that they were never born. See, that's the confidence and assurance that we have. Yeah, the enemy going to come. And he's going to come through men. Sometimes your employer. Sometimes your so-called lover. Sometimes your children. Sometimes a wicked neighbor. Sometimes some oppressive beast. Sometimes these pigs out in the street. Not all policemen, but these pigs in blue. Some of them. Many of them. Well, all of them if they protect the blue line. Because that's an occult as well, by the way. He said, I got something special for them. He said, I'm going to tear their asses up at that. And then after that, they're going to burn in hell. Locked up. In chains, and perpetual misery and grief and torment. This is the word. He says, so only with your eyes will you behold, and you will see the reward of the wicked. That's why we don't want to be a part of that, my brothers and sisters. Because see, we know what's going to happen. We're not believing just because we have, I ain't got nothing to do, so I think I'm just going to be a believer. You got to do better than that. Shit, this is war. This is war. And in war, everything gets plundered. Everything is bounty in war. And if you going at this happy-go-lucky, you're going to end up in a situation where somebody's going to be feasting on your ass. How else can I say it for you to understand it? I'm just talking in today's language. Amen? If you're looking for etiquette, then I don't know, maybe you might go on to dial up Sister Rose, over at the Catholic Church. A brother, heathen over there at the Baptist Church. An elder so-and-so. And Pastor so-and-so, maybe they'll give you some soft, warm, fuzzy lie in words, seducing words, tickling your ears, so you don't get, mentally offended. No, you need to hear the truth, because it's only the truth. And that truth comes in the authority and the clear direction and the strength of Yah. That's the only thing that can break this wicked chain. Your commitment and the hardcore facts, the hardcore truth. There's a war, the book tells us, in the kingdom, and the violent take what they need by force. We have to take our salvation. We have to take our soul. We have to take our Rahu. We have to fight for the Ruhuk of Yah. We have to fight against our natural inclination to be wicked. That is violence out here. This is not a game. This is not for the weak of mind, for the weak of spirit. If you're so sensitive that strong words make you cry, or if you're male, you're emasculated, and if you're a woman, you're just too silly for your own good, for lack of a better word. Stop being silly, led astray. All right? You can handle this. You'll get through it. Praise Yah. He says in verse 9, because you have made Yahuwah your refuge, even El Sadan, your habitation, there shall no evil befall you, neither any plague come near your dwelling. So we don't need to be afraid not to get vaccinated. We don't need to be afraid not to social distance. We don't need to be afraid not to have on mask. We don't have to fear any of that, because he said the pestilence won't harm us. Now, why are you covered up now? Why are you worried about now? Why you got the news looking? How many more people going to die before y'all put your mask on? This is what the book says. Who you going to trust? Man or Yah? Choose you this day who you will serve. Does that sound familiar? Praise Yah. For he shall give his angels charge over you to guard you in all your ways. Remember we talked about Peniel? Remember we talked about Raphael? Remember we talked about Gabriel? Remember we talked about Michael? And how that they're here to watch over us, to intercede on behalf of us when the enemy comes in? He just stated, these angels have charge over us. Praise Yah. I am so delighted. Praise Yah. Angels have charge over me. Angels are walking before me, fighting the battles that I can't see. That my pathway will be clear, so that no weapon that's formed against me will prosper. And everyone that rises up against me, Yah will judge. In other words, Yah will destroy them in his time. In his time. In his time, he will destroy all of our enemies. Near and far. Physical and spiritual. They don't stand a chance, my sisters and my brothers. They don't stand a chance. Be encouraged. The word is here. It's a reminder. Be encouraged. Put your shoulders up, brothers. Sisters, get your head straight. Not up here haunted, but straight ahead. All right? You're not in this fight alone. You got the greatest force, the greatest power ever known to mankind walking with you, if you're walking with the word of Yah as your guide. Verse 12. Verse 11. He shall give his angels charge over you to guard you in all of your ways. What does that mean? In all that you do. They're going to be there with you to protect you. As long as you're being obedient. Now, you go out there in this world, they're not coming with you. If you go out there seeking after other gods, religion, traditions of men, festivals, the precepts and concepts the doctrine of devils, if you're embracing that stuff, the lies that you read, the lies that you hear, the lies that you see, they're not going to be with you with that. These are guardian angels. These are powerful archangels. These angels will kill them. Any of that thing that come around, they're not going to go in. They will destroy that. If they're going to kill it, why would they be with you in it? You see the logic? Or how illogical you would sound by saying, I can live after this world and Yah got me. You see how illogical that is, guys? That's almost insanity. Insane. Doing the same thing over and over. You know they're not with you if you're constantly getting your ass kicked. I talked about it a moment ago. Can you really honestly say, based off of all the promises of this book, that those promises are a part of your life? I'm not talking about your psychosis that you psych yourself up with, that your religion that told you, again, Yah got me. I can do all things through Christ. Yes, you can if he's in you. Well, first of all, if Elohim is in you. I don't know about this Christ thing. Because the Ruach was in Christ, and I think that Ruach has to be in you. Matter of fact, I know it has to be in you. And many of you call yourself Christ-like. What do you think that means? So I don't know why you're running over there talking about Christ this and Christ that. You need to be talking about Yah. Because that's what he was talking about. He said, I go back to my Father. Where you going when you leave here? And he shall bear you up in his hands, lest you dash your feet against a stone. Remember, that's what Satan told you. Remember earlier in this message, I was telling you that Yeshua never said anything that Yahuwah did not tell him to say. Remember that? Remember when Satan was tempting him in the Mount of Temptation? When after he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights. Remember, Satan told him, if you be the son of Elohim, jump off this mountain, because it is said that nothing will harm you. And then he turned around and said, no, I'm not jumping off in there because I'm not going to tempt the Lord. I'm not going to tempt Elohim, I'm sorry. And how did he use? Satan used the word. Satan said, he shall bear you up in his hand, lest you just dash your feet against a stone. Go back and read it, Matthew 4:4. Go back and read it. Matthew chapter 4. It's going to be somewhere between verse 1 and verse 4 where that particular temptation came. And he was using the word, and Elohim knew the word. So if you don't know the word, you're not studying the book. How are you going to resist Satan? How are you going to resist his demonic forces? Yeshua was able to do it because he knew the word. Do you? He studied the word. Will you? He obeyed the ancient ones, the prophets, the messengers. Will you? He was a teacher in it itself. Are you being taught so you can teach? But there it is, right here written in the book of Psalms. The same thing that he said in Matthew chapter 4. Let's go on. Verse 13. You shall tread upon the lion and the adder. The young lion and the dragon shall you trample under your feet. What is that? The dragon. That old dragon called the devil. Remember that? Revelation 12:4. Where you going to find antlers and things like that? In the wilderness? Go read Revelation chapter 12. And you can see that that old dragon, the devil, was cast out, thrown out of the kingdom for his rebellion. And he came right down here to destroy us, the children of Elohim. And many of you, if you're practicing these heathen traditions of men, I am telling you, you have made him the greatest of all time in your life, the GOAT. And you are being deceived into thinking that you're with Yah. That's why Yeshua reminded us, be careful that you be not deceived. Matthew 24, right about verse 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. As you notice, I'm not flipping back and forth sharing these words of scripture with you. Why? Because the day going to come, they're going to destroy this, my brothers and sisters. If you live, if Yah tarries and you live long enough, this is going to be illegal. The book is going to be made an illegal document. To possess this book will be considered a criminal offense. And if you don't study this word now and have this word written in your heart, where are you going to pull from when you need the knowledge to teach your children? Where are you going to pull from when you need the knowledge to encourage yourself? Where are you going to pull from when you need to know how to walk before the presence of Elohim to be able to discern evil versus good? You got to get busy. Men, you got to start teaching your families. Sisters, if you don't have a man, get under the covering of a man who will teach you the truth. But make sure he's a man of Elohim, not some wolf in sheep clothing who will bring forth a truth to get inside of your pants. That's a wolf. Or to take your money. That's a wolf. Or to control your life. That's a wolf. A real man of Elohim will expect nothing from you. A real man of Elohim will only want what is best based off of the word of Elohim for you. And brothers, if you got brothers walking in faith, the same thing applies. Verse 14. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him, and I will set him on high because he has known my name. What is his name? Yahuwah. What is the people called? Israel. What is the major tribe in America? Judah. What do they look like? The so-called African American and Negro. Copper colored, I might add. Bronze, burnt brass. You, who are called by his name. What name did he give his people? Israel. And many of you, I ain't no Israel, look, okay, then you're none of his. Just settle it within yourself right now that you're none of his, you're just deceived. And you're good with it. But this promise, this written word says, because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. It said, in other words, he will deliver me, and I will set him on high. In other words, I'll keep him above all of the weapons formed against him. Why? Because he has known my name. He knows who he is. I know my name because I inherited his name from my fathers, from my mothers. And they know that name because they inherit that name. My children, because they inherit that name. My name is my father's name. I'm not talking about, identical name. I'm just talking about I'm of that family. The Brinkleys, the Herrings. Now that's in the natural. In the supernatural, it's Isaac, or Israel. And we're Judah, many of us. A Simeon, a Nephilah, a Issachar, a Dan, a Levi, a Benjamin. One of them, Reuben. There's 12 of them. Native Americans, so-called African Americans, and Hispanics. Praise Yah. And he shall call upon me, and I will answer him, and I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him, and I will honor him. See, this is the beauty of Elohim. He said, see, when the world gets done with you, they are done with you. When you can no longer do things for the world, you can't do the things they want you to do, they're finished with you. But Elohim says, I'm never going to be finished with you. He said, because when you call on me, I'm going to answer. Right now, you can pick up the phone and call somebody who you thought you could count on a year ago. Sometimes people you thought you could count on yesterday, and they will not pick up that other end of that phone. And if you get them on the phone, they'll give you every reason in the world why they can't help you. But Elohim says, when you call upon me, I'm going to answer. But you got to fit the rest of the description, my brothers and sisters. You got to walk in the ways and the knowledge of Yah. You have to embrace who we are. You have to be okay with being the apple of Elohim's eye. And no matter what these heathens try to tell you that you're not, rebuke them in the name of Yah. You're a lying spirit. Get thee behind me, Satan. That's what Yeshua ended up telling Satan when he was tempted in the mount. Again, Matthew 1 through 4, 5, 6. Read it for yourself. Talking about chapter 4, verses 1 through 6. Read it. There's a way to deal with these demons. But it's not going along with them. It's not being afraid of them. He just told you, if you're walking with me, you're not going to be afraid. If 1,000 came, 10,000 came, he says, I'm going to be with you. And they're going to fall at your side. They're not even going to come near you if I'm with you. I don't know why we wouldn't embrace that. Well, I don't know why some of you wouldn't embrace that. Because I am going to embrace it. I have embraced it, and I will always embrace it. I don't give a damn what anybody think, including I don't give a damn what any of you think. If you want to know the truth about it, if you're trying to get in the way between me and Yah, that's a lost cause. You can go on about your goddamn business. You can get on up the road. C'est la vie. Whatever the hell I think that's French for goodbye. Get thee behind me. That's my brother Joshua. At least our ancestor Joshua. Y'all can do whatever the hell y'all want to do. Go out there, follow the heathen, make pacts with the heathen, make deal with the heathen, do bidding with the heathen, love the heathens, love the ways of the heathen, wear their clothing, wear their hair, wear all their styles, love their fashion, love their tournaments, love their games, love their entertainment, love their abominable things. He said, go ahead on, go. You're going to see what's going to happen to you for doing that. But as far as me and those who under my covering, we serving Yah. Joshua 24:15. I think I got that right. Praise Yah. He shall call upon me and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. Come on, sisters and brothers. Trouble is going to come. Trouble is going to come. If it's not already in your life, trouble is coming. Don't you know you have the greatest weapon that could ever be imagined at your disposal? He's telling you in times of trouble, I'm going to be with you. All these actions is for you. I want you back. That's what he's saying. Like he told Hosea, I think it was Hosea. Hosea was a man, and he got into folly, and he got into self-righteousness. And Yah told him, that wife you got, I'm gonna make her a hoe, just to show you something, and I'm gonna make you take her back. And Hosea was like, well, why would I take her back? But that's what you tell me to do, I'm gonna do it. He was saying, no, the whore is Israel, and you, Hosea, is a demonstration of my love. You, Hosea, is a representation of me. So although she slept with the heathens, I'm going to clean her up by using you to bring her back to me. See, that's the truth. When you shall know the truth shall set you free. See, the truth is going to clean you up. Going to take that whoreness out of you, spiritual whoredom out of you, my brothers and my sisters, so that we can be married again. In other words, oneness with Elohim. That way, no weapon formed against us will prosper. And when that trouble comes, we have a Redeemer standing with us, a provider, a protector, a conqueror. Amen? Last verse. Those two verses. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him, and I will be with him. I will deliver him, and I will honor him. Taking ashes and making them beauty. He said, I will give you beauty for ashes, remember? In other words, ashes is when something has nothing left, it turns to ashes. You know what I'm saying? Your body, if it goes through an incinerator, or if you get cremated, you can become ashes. He said, I'm going to take those ashes and I'm going to make them beautiful again. I'm going to bring it back to life and I'm going to set it up on high. And men will honor you because they're going to see me in you. Praise Yah. And it's the last verse here. And with long life will I satisfy him and show him my Yeshua. With long life. What does that mean? That means some of us are not going to look our age. Some of us are going to age very, very well. You know, people of Judah, we hear it all the time. You know, black don't crack. Y'all heard that, right? Beautiful. And they're not just talking, they're talking about I'm talking about South American blacks and North American blacks and African blacks or what have you. But he's not necessarily talking about that, but we've heard that before. But he's saying that I'm going to renew your youth like the eagle renews his wings. So I'm going to keep you young unto death. Again, sisters, see, I'm going to beautify you with meekness. You're not going to have to put on a bunch of makeup and adorn yourself where that, you're going to, to attract attention. He said, no, I will be attention. You will be attention because I'm going to be the glory of you. And any true man of Israel will see you and see that beauty and desire, if he can have you and if you're available, you. Praise Yah. But one thing about it, Yah will send to pursue us. Amen? So that's the truth, brothers and sisters. This is what we have that we can hold on to. This is the word of Yah. That's why these messages are coming forward, because of the passion and love and desire of Yah that I have for Yah. That's why you should share with the people you care about. Some will hear. Maybe they'll become good soul. Maybe this will be a seed, and maybe someone else will share another one. That will be the water. And then at some point, maybe Yah, through his glory, through his love, through his patience, through his understanding, through his mercy, will give them the increase. In other words, guide them into the place where they need to be. But if you do nothing, you get nothing. Amen? And many of you saying, well, I hope I want it to happen. Well, what are you going to do? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up your good sanctified name, your good reputation for Elohim? Because if you're not willing to do that, then you can expect nothing from Elohim. Amen? It's just the truth. All right, my brothers and sisters, we've gone long, but we've gone strong. Amen? Love you with everything that's in me that's good to love you. And I pray that you see Yah's love as so much, much more. All right? Talk to you soon, brothers and sisters. DFG, get in flight. Bye now.